We're Robin and Steve. We left off in a cloud on the Cook Strait. Not far away, there's a huge cargo ship going the other way, completely obscured by fog. But thanks to AIS, I could see where it was. We're bidding the North Island farewell as we head across the Cook Strait to Port Underwood. We were to see nothing but fog and the old albatross all day. You know it's foggy when you're using your radar in the daytime. In the Cook Strait, I spotted something unusual. Actually, sadly, it's not that unusual. It's someone's party balloon. So someone's party balloon made me grumpy. One must nourish oneself and rest and stretch. This might seem a bit over the top, but if I don't use it, I'll lose it. Did I mention nourishment? We're very good at that. We arrived at Port Underwood in darkness. The radar was good, but in the end, I depended on Steve's spotlight. These mussel farms were everywhere, and they were unlit. By morning, the fog had lifted, so we could actually see the South Island. And mussel farmers working. We extended our new country pancake tradition to the South Island, even though we know it's part of New Zealand. Tasmanians will understand. And then we set off to the Cook Strait again and saw snow. And then a Hector's dolphin. Only cetacean endemic to New Zealand, and this subspecies is endemic to the South Island. Oh my goodness, more! Dolphins accompanied us for quite a while, long enough for Steve to figure out how to participate in citizen science and report our sighting. The Cook Strait is bumpy, and so is this footage, but I'd still rather include an albatross. We were approaching the mouth of the Tory Channel, right on slack tide, so soon the current would help swoosh us toward Queen Charlotte Sound. Conditions were so nice we felt we could unclip and take in the rugged scenery from a safe distance. Many of the landscapes were less natural, dominated by vast pine plantations. This mystery fish turned out to be a gemfish, bony but yummy. Fast currents and faster ferries meant that we made ourselves scarce whenever we saw one of these coming, and they kept coming. The water surface looked a bit weird from all the currents. Further up Queen Charlotte Sound, we saw less ferries and more little sailing boats from the outward bound school of Anakiwa, which is where we moored, after dislodging a few mussels, with a few kicks of Steve's New Zealand safety boots. Our lovely sailing friends have sailed elsewhere and are letting us use their mooring and their car, because we're soon to haul out. A little map recap from Port Underwood. It was a good place to wait for the right tides before heading up the Cook Strait and into the Tory Channel, which leads through to the Queen Charlotte Sound. We're finally we could be in calm waters again, at least on this morning. I even got to do a bit of something else I miss a lot, gardening. We hadn't driven a car in a long time. Felt so fast at 40 kilometres an hour. This is Picton, a quiet but tourist-rich town. With a local cat, who we gather hangs around this marina. Another nearby town is Havelock, also quite small. And Anakiwa is smaller again. At this stage, I jumped ship onto a little plane. My dad was having an operation, which turned out to be just fine. In any case, I was off to Tasmania. Seeing Queen Charlotte Sound from above was pretty cool. And here's Port Underwood, where we were just a few days ago. And there's some forestry. I had one night with a friend in Wellington, and I went for some nice long steep walks. This is New Zealand. There's a decent surf beach right next to the airport. On one of my steep walks uphill, I met this duck. A duck with a view. I left the windy city behind, bound for Hobart. Here's Dad in the community garden, just a few days after a heart operation. Luckily, it was a relaxing visit. After this whirlwind family visit, I headed back to Picton, but ended up in Blenheim due to strong winds. If you've ever had Marlborough wine, it's probably from these grapes. It was rainy, but that didn't stop us exploring the famous Queen Charlotte Sound walking track. Then it was time to haul out. Steve sailed Ricali to Waikawa, and I met him there, and this stingray, who'd been injured. For obvious reasons, Steve couldn't remove the hook, but did shorten the fishing line. There were many stingrays here, and we got to know them all, and where they'd be at different times of day. Sadly, when we were to be hauled out, it was windy, and once we'd steered into the lift beautifully, we were told that it couldn't be done unless we reversed in. Our boat does not reverse well in high winds, or ever. Out thing was postponed until morning, when we managed to reverse in beautifully. And the haul-out process was smooth, and so was the bottom of our boat. Our intermittent hull scrubs had paid off, but our to-do list was long. I'm forever in awe of the lift operators. They never stop. And we hadn't seen our boat out of water since way back in Tasmania. That keel has had some adventures. We're going to have to sand back the anti-fouling and redo it. And to help prepare, the hull was cleaned with a water blaster. I may be odd, but I find this quite mesmerising. Rules differ from place to place. In Waikawa, only the local crew are allowed to operate the water blaster. Once that was done, Ricali was driven to her new home for the week. Here, high and dry, with lots of work to do, including pulling the propeller shaft out, anti-fouling the hull, and much more, before eventually going back in the water and taking a quick trip by air to see family and do some work. I'll leave you with the sounds of the boatyard.